Ever wonder how we get the metals that power our world?
Well, get ready because today we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of chemical metallurgy.
We've got some intriguing material from RoleCatcher, a website all about navigating the modern job market, it seems.
Yeah, looks like they cover it all. Career guides, interview prep, you name it. And they highlight how vital chemical metallurgists are for a sustainable future, which is interesting.
So it's not just about digging up rocks anymore.
Not even close. RoleCatcher actually says a chemical metallurgist specializes in extracting and refining metals, not just from raw ore, but also from recycled stuff.
Recycling metals.
Okay.
That makes sense. We can't keep mining forever. What does that look like in practice, though?
It's way more complex than you might think.
I bet.
There's an incredible variety of metals and alloys out there, and we use them for so many things. Each one has its own thing, its strength, its corrosion resistance, how it reacts to heat and stress.
Right, right.
And chemical metallurgists, they're like detectives for these properties.
Detect?
Yeah. They're analyzing them at a molecular level, figuring out how to best get the metals we need from recycled materials.
So it's a puzzle separating and purifying the metals from all those different sources.
You got it. And these guys are constantly innovating, developing new technologies, and fine-tuning existing processes to make metal production more efficient and eco-friendly.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I never knew how much science and straight-up ingenuity went into something we totally take for granted every single day.
Right.
So what does it take to be one? What kind of skills are we talking about to be a chemical metallurgist?
Well, RoleCatcher makes it clear that a strong foundation in chemistry and material science is key. But it's more than just hard science, you know?
Oh, okay.
Problem solving, critical thinking, communication, they all matter. You're analyzing data, designing experiments, troubleshooting issues, and communicating findings to colleagues, clients. You've got to be versatile.
Sounds like you need to be a scientist, an engineer, and a communicator all in one. That's quite the combo.
It really is. And as you move up the ladder, those leadership and management skills, those become even more important.
Okay.
RoleCatcher lays out a typical career path, starting with entry level, moving up to junior, then senior, and eventually you could become a principal chemical metallurgist.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. What does that progression actually look like in the working world?
So picture this. You're fresh out of uni, excited to use all that theoretical knowledge you've soaked up. You might start as an entry-level chemical metallurgist, helping senior colleagues with research, gathering data, just getting a feel for the day-to-day, whether in a lab or industrial setting.
Like a real-world apprenticeship, then. You're learning the ropes from the seasoned metal masters.
Exactly. And as you get that experience, that's when you transition to junior chemical metallurgist. You get more independence, you're running your own analyses, experiments, troubleshooting problems, maybe even working with engineers to streamline those processes.
So not just following directions anymore. You get to make your own mark.
Yes. And after that, senior chemical metallurgist is next. Now, you're not just an expert, you're a leader. Mentoring junior staff, designing and implementing new processes, even weighing in on strategic decisions. Big stuff.
Now you're shaping things, influencing projects, developing new technologies.
Absolutely.
Exciting. So what's the peak then? The top of the mountain for a chemical metallurgist?
RoleCatcher calls this the principal chemical metallurgist. Here, you're at the top of your game, giving expert guidance, leading research, collaborating with senior management. You might even represent your organization at conferences or in industry publications.
Wow. The journey from lab assistant to industry leader.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. Every job has its ups and downs. What about the downsides? What does RoleCatcher say?
They keep it real. Working with metals and chemicals has its risks.
Makes sense.
Safety is paramount. You could be exposed to hazardous materials, so strict safety protocols are a must.
So it's not all shiny metals and groundbreaking discoveries all the time, though.
Oh, right. And like many demanding careers, you're looking at long hours, high stress levels, tight deadlines, complex technical problems. It can be a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. Always having to stay updated on the newest research, adapting to new tech. So how does RoleCatcher recommend someone prepare for this career path then?
Practical experience is huge. They hammer that home. Internships, co-op programs, research projects. They say to get that hands-on experience, the real-world stuff, you know.
Makes sense. It's one thing to read about something in a textbook and another to actually apply it.
Totally. And they're big on professional networking. joining organizations like the Society for Mining, Metallurgy, and Exploration, that kind of thing. Or the American Institute of Mining, Metallurgical, and Petroleum Engineers.
So making those connections, getting your name out there.
Exactly. It's about building those relationships and getting insights you wouldn't find anywhere else. And when it comes to standing out, certification.
Okay, what kind of certification?
They point to the Certified Metallurgical Engineer, Certified Materials Professional, and Certified Corrosion Specialist. Those are valuable.
So having those on your resume, those could give you an edge in a competitive job market.
Definitely. It shows you're serious, that you're committed to professional growth, that you have that in-depth knowledge in specialized areas.
Speaking of getting an edge, one thing that caught my eye about RoleCatcher was their AI-powered interview prep. That sounds pretty high-tech. Can you elaborate on that?
Imagine having access to thousands of interview questions designed specifically for chemical metallurgists.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's what they offer. Categorized by experience level and industry, so you're practicing the exact kinds of questions you're likely to get. No more generic interview advice.
That's already incredibly useful, so you don't have to scramble around the internet hoping to find something relevant.
Exactly, and it gets even better.
Even better.
You can actually record yourself answering the questions, and their AI analyzes your performance and gives you personalized feedback.
Hold on, it's like having a personal interview coach then.
It really is. It looks at everything, how clear you are, your pace, even your body language if you're recording video.
Wow, okay.
And then it gives you tips on how to improve what you're saying and how you're saying it.
That's wild. This is like having a secret weapon for nailing those interviews. What else does it analyze?
It goes deeper. It looks at the job description, your resume, even what people can find about you online. And it uses all that to help you tailor your responses.
Yeah, that is impressive. It's like a career coach and a PR team all in one.
Right. And because it's AI, it's constantly learning and getting better at what it does.
That's incredible. It's like having the combined knowledge of countless interviews distilled into a single tool.
And we haven't even touched on their job matching system.
Oh, right. We mentioned that earlier. How does that work? Does it really play matchmaker for those interested in metals?
It's surprisingly simple. You tell RoleCatcher about your skills, your experience, what you want to do, and their AI analyzes everything and then matches you with companies who are actively looking for someone just like you.
Okay, so no more blindly sending applications into the void and just hoping for the best.
Exactly. It makes job searching way less stressful and much more likely to get you what you want.
That's amazing. Seems like RoleCatcher is a game changer for anyone looking for a job. Doesn't matter if you're fresh out of school or a seasoned pro looking for something new.
100%. It's a fantastic example of how technology can empower people looking for jobs and help them reach their goals.
We've covered a lot in this first part of our chemical metallurgy deep dive. We've gone from the technical stuff, extracting and refining metals, to sustainability and the unexpected role of AI in finding a job. It seems like this field is bursting with possibilities.
It's been so interesting uncovering the hidden complexities of a field many people don't even know about. It's so crucial to our everyday lives, though.
Totally. But we're not done yet. When we come back, we'll dive even deeper into what it's really like to be a chemical metallurgist. Different industries, the actual work they do, the ethical questions they face. Stay tuned. And we're back.
Back for more metal magic.
You know it. We've been uncovering the world of chemical metallurgy. And so far, there's a lot more to it than I ever thought. I'm ready to dig into the day-to-day work. What's next in this deep dive?
Well, I think it's time we answer the big question. What does a chemical metallurgist actually do?
Right, get into the nitty-gritty.
RoleCatcher has a really cool section on functions and core abilities. It gives us a sneak peek into their world.
Okay, let's hear it. What kind of tasks and skills are we talking about?
Operations analysis, that's a big one.
What is that?
Basically, they're analyzing what a project needs.
Okay.
The budget, the materials, the end goal, all that, to figure out how to use metals in the best way possible.
So they're strategizing in, figuring out which metal is best for the job. Like choosing the right tool from a toolbox, right?
Exactly. Imagine a bridge being built. A chemical metallurgist would be thinking about things like how much weight it needs to hold, the weather, how long it needs to last.
Right.
All that goes into deciding the perfect type of steel to use. They think about things like tensile strength, how much you can pull it before it breaks, and corrosion resistance, how well it handles rust.
Wow, I never thought about choosing the right metal for a job. It's not just a one-size-fits-all thing, huh?
Nope. And that's where complex problem solving comes in. RoleCatcher says this is crucial for chemical metallurgists.
I can imagine.
They're always facing some kind of challenge. How to extract metals without wasting so much, or how to make existing metals even better.
So it's not just about following a recipe. It's about creating new ones.
Yes, they're innovators,
Wow.
pushing the limits of what we can do with metals. Of course, they can't do it alone. RoleCatcher also stresses communication.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd need to be a good communicator to explain all those complex scientific ideas.
Exactly, whether they're writing reports, presenting research, or just talking to engineers and technicians.
Yeah.
But it's not just one industry, right?
Right. Where do these metal masters actually work? Are they stuck in a lab all day?
Definitely not. RoleCatcher lists tons of industries where chemical metallurgists are in high demand. We're talking mining companies, metal refining plants, manufacturers,
Oh.
aerospace, automotive, even renewable energy.
Wow. You could go from building spaceships to making solar panels more efficient.
Exactly. And within those industries, there are even more specialized roles. A chemical metallurgist working on cars might focus on making lighter, stronger parts to save fuel.
It's amazing how metal touches our lives in ways we don't even think about. We think of it as this hard, cold material, but there are actual people behind it, innovating and creating.
Absolutely. And as we try to live more sustainably, chemical metallurgists are going to be even more vital.
Oh, I see.
They're the ones figuring out how to use and reuse metals in ways that are easier on the planet.
Creating a greener future. But with all this talk about extraction and refining, what about the ethics? Are there moral questions that come with being a chemical metallurgist?
It's a really important question. RoleCatcher doesn't really get into specific cases, but
Yeah.
they do point out areas where ethics are super relevant, like where do the raw materials come from?
Right, because we hear about problems in mining, the impact on the environment, workers being exploited.
Exactly. A chemical metallurgist who's really committed to ethical practices, they need to be aware of that and support responsible sourcing.
Good.
They might look for suppliers with good environmental and social records, or even find ways to extract metals in a way that's less harmful.
So it's not just about what they make, it's about how they make it. Their decisions affect the environment and communities around the world.
100%. And that's not all. There's other ethical things too, like what happens to the leftover stuff from the refining process.
Oh, right. That's usually pretty nasty stuff.
Hazardous materials have to be disposed of responsibly, or else you're damaging the environment.
It seems like a chemical metallurgist needs a really strong moral compass to handle all the complexities of their job.
You got it. You're not just a scientist or engineer, you're a citizen of the world.
That's a good way to put it. But hey, remember those AI-powered interview tools RoleCatcher offers? I'm ready to hear more about how those work. This has been the biggest surprise of this whole deep dive.
Right.
Let's talk about how this tech can help someone who wants to be a chemical metallurgist.
Okay, so remember that huge database of interview questions? Well, it's not just a list. You can actually record yourself answering them.
Oh, cool.
And get this, RoleCatcher's AI analyzes how you're doing in real time.
It's like having a personal coach right there on your computer. What does it analyze? Everything.
Pretty much. It looks at whether you're clear, your pacing, how you structure your answers. If you're on video, it even looks at your body language.
Wow.
And it gives you tips on how to make your answers better.
That's incredible. It's like having a secret weapon to help you ace an interview.
It really is a game changer. It goes beyond just telling you what to fix. It actually gives you suggestions how to create stronger answers.
Oh, wow.
It considers the specific job, your experience, even what's online about you, to help you build a consistent personal brand.
That is seriously impressive. A career coach and a PR person all in one.
And because it's AI, the more people use it, the smarter it gets.
That's wild. It's like having the knowledge of a million interviews in one tool.
And let's not forget the job matching system.
Oh, right. It's not just about prepping for the interview. It's about finding the right opportunities.
Right. So it works like this. You tell RoleCatcher about your skills, experience, career goals, you know, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Their AI looks at all of that and plays matchmaker, connects you with companies that are actually looking for someone just like you.
So no more firing off tons of applications and hoping for the best.
Nope. It makes job hunting less stressful and way more effective. Work smarter, not harder, right?
I love that idea. It seems like RoleCatcher really wants to empower job seekers, no matter what they're passionate about.
They do. It's amazing to see technology used to connect people with opportunities and help them navigate the whole job market.
We have gone deep on chemical metallurgy today. We've talked about what they do, the ethics involved, and even how AI is changing how people find and prepare for these careers, all thanks to platforms like RoleCatcher.
It's been fascinating going behind the scenes in the world of metals. I feel like most of us never really think about this
I
stuff.
know, right? It's a hidden world, but it plays such a big part in our lives.
100%.
We've gone from digging in the dirt to peering through microscopes in this deep dive into chemical metallurgy. But now it's time to fire up those imagination engines and blast off into the future of metals. What's in store for the metal pioneers of tomorrow?
One word: sustainability. And it's not just some trendy buzzword either.
Right.
It's about changing how we think about making metal and how it impacts the planet.
We've talked about where materials come from, dealing with waste responsibly. But what about those out there innovations? What's got you most excited about the future of this field?
Picture this. What if we could get metals using teeny tiny microscopic miners?
Okay.
Well, that's the potential of bioleaching.
Bioleaching, right. We touched on that earlier.
It uses microorganisms like bacteria.
The bacteria.
Yeah, to get metals from ore in a way that's much better for the environment.
It still sounds pretty sci-fi to me. How does that even work? Bacteria mining metal.
Some types of bacteria, right. They can actually dissolve and recover metals from ore naturally. They've been doing it for ages.
Wild.
And chemical metallurgists, they're taking that natural ability and running with it, creating the right conditions for those microbes to thrive and do their thing, pull out the metals more efficiently, using less energy, and creating less waste.
So instead of all those harsh chemicals and tons of energy, we could use nature's tiny miners.
That's incredible. Are there any other innovations shaking things up in this field? Nanotechnology is another big one. Chemical metallurgists are getting down to the atomic level.
Really?
Yeah, they're crafting metals with enhanced properties. Things like lighter but stronger alloys for planes, or, get this, self-healing metals.
Self-healing metals. Okay, now that's straight out of a sci-fi movie. How's that even possible?
Imagine a bridge that fixes its own cracks, or a plane wing that can handle even more stress, all because of those tiny structures inside the metal that just realign themselves. It's not just a fantasy, it's the kind of thing they're working towards right now.
That is mind-blowing. The possibilities are endless if you can mess with materials at that scale. But with all this progress, there have to be challenges. What are chemical metallurgists up against in the future?
Keeping up. Technology is moving so fast. Nanotech, biotech, even AI, it's all changing so quickly. Chemical metallurgists will have to be constantly learning, always adding to their skills and being open to new ideas to stay ahead of the game.
It's not even enough to be an expert in what we know today. They have to be ready for whatever comes next. That's both exhilarating and a little scarier.
100%. And with these powerful new technologies, the ethics get even more complex. When we start pushing those boundaries of what's possible with materials, we got to think about what that means for people and the planet.
So it's not just, can we do it, but should we?
Right. As nanomaterials are used more in manufacturing, we need to understand how those affect us long term. Chemical metallurgists will be vital in making sure these materials are developed and used responsibly, finding that balance between innovating and doing it the right way.
It sounds like the future of chemical metallurgy is about so much more than just working with metals. It's about shaping a better, more sustainable world for everyone.
Exactly. Using their skills to tackle global issues, whether that's coming up with new energy solutions or making sure the materials we use are safe for generations to come.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. From the ins and outs of extracting metals to the ethical questions of this rapidly evolving field. And let's not forget the amazing ways AI is changing how people find jobs and prepare for them all, thanks to platforms like RoleCatcher.
It's been awesome to peek into the hidden world of chemical metallurgy. Most of us don't even know it exists, but it really shapes so much of our world.
It has a huge impact. Hopefully our listeners have a new appreciation for the metals all around us and the brilliant minds working with them.
I hope so.
Who knows? Maybe someone listening will be the one to come up with the next revolutionary metal alloy or discover a whole new way of using these incredible elements. That's something to think about. Thanks for joining us on a deep dive into the amazing world of chemical metallurgy. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.